Okay, morning everybody, or evening or lunchtime, whenever you're choosing to do this. Following on from my warm-up and my recap on the Pilates rest position, I'm going to go straight into the mat work class for this video. But I strongly recommend that you make sure you do some of the warm-up, that you just take a few minutes each prior to each class just to make sure that you've re-engaged those lower tummy muscles and that you have just reconnected with what the Pilates practice is all about. As with any of my videos, if at any time anything feels uncomfortable or you feel you can't do any of the movements, then I really strongly recommend that you just stop. And as we work through classes, I'll let you know about different variations that you can do. But it's just super important that you work within your own body's limits. So I'm hoping you've all done the warm-up, and with that, let's get started. I like to come down onto my mat through a roll down. I just think it's a really safe and effective way to come into that rest position lying on the mat. So I'm going to take a nice deep breath in, and as I breathe out, I'm going to take my chin to my chest and roll down through my upper back, mid back, lower back, making sure I've got that soft bend in my knees, coming towards the mat, placing my hands on the mat and just coming to lay with my head on the head cushion here. I've got one of the Pilates soft kind of 1-inch head cushions, but a folded towel will work equally well. Make sure that head cushion is just at the base of your neck. We want that to be really still have that lovely long back of neck. We start with our knees and feet glued together, and then we take our toes out to 10 to 2 and bring our heels in line with our toes. We want this lovely Pilates diamond with your thumbs and four fingers together. Place your thumbs in your belly button and your fingers headed down towards your pubic bone. And we're just going to start by imagining we've got a Malteser in that diamond, and we're rocking that Malteser towards our belly button and then rolling it away. Getting that lovely movement through the pelvis, flattening the back into the mat, and then creating that small arch and coming to rest where that lovely diamond seems nice and flat on our tummy, and that Malteser would sit in the middle of that diamond. Arms relaxed by your side, upper body nice and heavy into the mat, lovely long back of neck. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, just engage those lower tummy muscles, drawing up through that pelvic floor, that belt tightening around your hips, and just take a hand. We're aiming for a small gap under our lower back there. Keeping those tummy muscles engaged, we're going to slide one leg along the mat in our single leg stretch, and then draw that leg back in. Alternating legs, we're sliding away and drawing back in. Really focusing on keeping these hip bones nice and level. We've got that lovely tray of drinks across our hips, and we want to keep those drinks without spilling a drop. This is great for just stretching out these hip flexors and also challenging the control of our core as we straighten one leg away. Breathing out as the leg stretches away, and breathing in to return that leg to the rest position. Lovely. We're going to move on now to our double leg stretch arms. So we're taking the arms up above our head, reaching overhead, circling the arms round and bringing them back to that start position. Reaching overhead, keeping the ribs nice and soft, circling the arms and bringing them back. So keeping that lower tummy engaged, almost pressing the ribs heavy into the back of the mat underneath you. Breathing out as we reach the arms overhead, circling around and breathing in. We're going to introduce the leg now. So as we slide the leg away, we stretch the arms overhead, and as we circle back round with the arms, we draw the leg back in. Alternating legs, stretching long, feeling that stretch, but keeping that rib cage in contact with the mat. Breathing out as we stretch away, in as we circle back. We're thinking about keeping those hips lovely and stable here too. So we're just combining both movements and giving ourselves a bit of a coordination challenge too. Lovely, and relaxing the arms back down. As we breathe in now to prepare, breathe out and just focus in on that rest position. Engage those lower tummy muscles. We're sliding one leg up into this lovely tabletop position. Nice 90-degree angle there of the knee and the hip. And we're imagining we've got a pencil strapped to the top of our knee as we draw some lovely circles on the ceiling. Taking those circles in a controlled way. Lovely. And I'm thinking about keeping my foot hidden behind my knee, so my leg stays in the same position as I take the circles in the opposite direction. Working hard through my tummy muscles and my lower abs to keep control of my hips. And keeping this rest leg perfectly still, lovely, and floating that leg back down to the mat. Breathe in, and as you exhale, float the opposite leg into tabletop and begin again with those lovely circles. Just check in, does this one leg feel easier to control than the other? Is that rest leg nice and steady into the mat? Or do you need to think about pushing down through the heel of that rest leg a bit more to create some stability? And taking the circles in the opposite direction, focusing on keeping that upper body nice and relaxed. And lowering back to the mat. Lovely. We're going to move on to our hip twist now. So again, checking in that rest position. Nice breath in, and as we exhale, we're letting one knee drop away to the mat, and then using our tummy muscles, we're bringing that leg back to the center. Alternating legs, we drop away, and then we squeeze the tummy to draw the leg back. So we're thinking about that tray of drinks across our hips. We're thinking about both bottom cheeks sitting into the mat still, so we don't want to raise one off the mat as we drop the other one away. Just take the knee as far out to the side as you can, maintaining that lovely control. Pilates is about these controlled small movements, making sure all those really deep muscles are switched on. And that's the way we'll get the most out of it. Lovely. And one more. Beautiful. We're going to move on now by gluing our knees, hips and feet together. So we've got one solid block, taking our arms slightly out to the side of us, just slightly lower than shoulder height. We've got that nice rest position. We're breathing in, and as we exhale, we're just letting the knees drop to one side, keeping the upper body in contact with the mat. We then squeeze the tummy muscles, bring the legs back to the center, then let them drop away to the other side, keeping that upper body in contact with the mat, keeping those lower tummy muscles engaged. And then when you're ready, you can take the head in the opposite direction. So we're taking the knees one way and the head the other to increase that lovely lower back stretch. You can sit in the stretch for a bit, hold it there if you want to. Not forgetting to keep those knees firmly glued on top of one another. So only allowing the knees to go as far as you can with them remaining stuck on top of one another. We don't want that top knee to slip backwards at all. This is a great one for increasing your mobility. Waking up that spine, keeping it nice and flexible. Lovely. Bring the knees back to the center. Bring your arms back to your sides. Take the toes out to 10 to 2 and bring the heels in line with the toes. Let's just take a few pelvic rocks here to make sure we've got that lovely neutral position. And then I just want you to remove the head pillow. Bring your feet slightly closer to your bottom, and we're going to roll our bottom cheeks off the mat. So rolling that pelvis towards your tummy button. And we're just looking to lift our bottom slightly off the mat. And then when you're ready, we're going to continue with that roll. So almost like we're peeling our spine off the mat, squeezing these bottom muscles really hard to bring the hips up towards the ceiling. We want this lovely ski slope shape for our shoulder bridge. And then we roll back down towards the mat, trying to place one vertebrae at a time on the mat, coming back to that lovely rest position. And again, breathing in to prepare. And as we exhale, peeling each vertebrae away, squeezing hard through those bottom muscles, creating this nice ski slope shape, keeping the ribs lower than the hips, and then rolling vertebrae by vertebrae back down. And again. We're thinking about two little red hot pokers poking into those bottom muscles as we squeeze them tight. Lovely spinal massage this one as we roll the spine back and forth up and down the mat. Great for getting those glutes working. So really building some glute strength, which helps with the core stability for our posture, for our walking, running, and even just standing correctly, helping with all the other movements to alleviate that lower back pain that so many of us suffer from. And lowering back down. Lovely. So that was my leg series for today. I will just break these lessons up into different body parts, into different series, just to keep it manageable for you to watch at any point in time. Every so often I'll do a longer lesson where I'll put everything together, and as always, if there's anything you want to see more of, do let me know. Thank you.